All right. Welcome to today's guided practice session. My name's Adam Maness. We're going to be practicing today a very specific concept. So I was listening to a classic pop song the other day, and something stuck out for me. Check this. So of course that's Paul Simon, Still Crazy After All These Years. That's Richard T. on the Rhodes. If you don't know Richard T.'s work, he was on every pop recording basically as the pianist or keyboardist from the 60s, 70s, 80s. I mean, he's just really prolific recorder of pop music. Started out playing in church and just has that American piano vibe. And that little thing that happened there and Still Crazy After All These Years. Let's see, where is it? Right here, right? So hearing that, there's nothing super complicated about this, but it just stuck out to me as something like, I want to get that sound. Whatever that sound is, I want to get it, which is how we usually get to transcribing records and figuring this stuff out. And so that's what led me to this guided practice session today, because I want to get this sound in my head. Now, what Richard T played there, it's sort of a B7 sus at first, and then he does a B7 over D sharp to an E minor 7. But this B7 over D sharp is the drop 3, right? So if we have a B7, B, D sharp, F sharp, A, just a basic 4-note 7th chord, we drop that third note from the top, drop 3, right? So we're dropping the third note from the top of the chord down an octave. We get this beautiful voicing. And what I've noticed is that these drop 3 voicings, they just work really well on dominant chords. So that's what we're going to be focusing on today. Just simple 7th chords that go to a landing tonic chord, right? How beautiful is that? I mean, it's all over traditional Western classical harmony and all that stuff. Choral music, you hear this because the voice leading is so strong. So we're going to do a bunch of inversions in this. Now, as this was in my head, I heard this. This is Oscar Peterson playing Dizzy Gillespie's Con Alma. Con Alma is just a beautiful jazz standard. And the way Oscar Peterson's playing this here, what stuck out at me was this inner voice movement. Now again, this is a dominant chord going to a tonic chord, right? And it's drop 3. It's an A flat 7 or G sharp 7 chord, right? And if it's this voicing, C, E flat, G flat, A flat, right? A flat 7. That third note from the top, the E flat, gets dropped down. And it resolves so beautifully to that D flat minor. And then he does it again in... What was it? Yeah. Going F sharp 7 to the B minor. So that's what we're going to be working on today. And this is going to be so cool, right? So this is going to be very useful for like solo piano settings, for more pop music settings, or even just if you want to do something simple. That's Oscar Peterson, right? He's not known for just doing triads, but on Con Alma, he kind of did that because it sounds so lovely. And it's just beautiful voice leading that when we get it, I think you're going to like what we're going to do here today. So let's check out just how exactly does drop 3 work. So we'll be mainly working in the key of E flat today. And so our dominant chord in the key of E flat, right, for the tonic is a B flat 7. Very simple, right? 4-note 7th chord, B flat, D, F, A flat. The root, the third, the 5th, and the 7th of a B flat dominant chord. So that first root inversion, right, just that first root position, if we take the third note from the top and we drop it down, we get that. Now, if we go through the other 3 inversions, right, we just move the bottom note up an octave, right, we get that inversion. Now, if we take the third note from the bottom, that F there, that's in blue, we get that. And so on. This inversion, F, A flat, B flat, D, right? If we take that third note from the bottom, we get that. All of these chords sound very familiar, don't they? And then finally, A flat, B flat, D, F, right? Kind of our fourth position of this just basic seventh chord. If we take that third note from the top, we actually get a root position, spread, B flat 7 voicing. So that is the essence. That's exactly the way that Drop-3 is formed. It's really kind of a simple thing, but like all simple things, right? When we want to take it through all these different concepts that we're about to lay it over, it gets more and more complicated, which is when it gets more and more fun. So I thought a cool way to practice this might be to just take it through the key of E flat. And what if, just stay with me, what if we just took it up diatonically? Each triad, starting with the triad on E flat, we just take up, right? F minor, basic triads, right? We're not going for seventh chords or anything, just basic triad is our tonic, right? And this isn't Drop-3 yet. This is just E flat, B flat, E flat, G. We're just going to do a triad with the root on the bottom. Take them up diatonically, each chord in the E flat major diatonic series, including the D diminished. But we add a secondary dominant. That's the Drop-3. Because when you see this, right? So if we're in E flat, it's this. And then going to F, it's a C7. And it doesn't matter if it's in the key of E flat or not. The F minor is in the key of E flat. So this is a secondary dominant to our chord tone, right? And then the next one is G. So what's this? The fifth of G is our D7, right? I have it right here. Actually, we can all look together. So here is our very first way we're going to practice this, right? A dominant to our 1 with our, and this is the first position, Drop-3 voicing. How beautiful is that? A dominant to the 2, a dominant to the 3. All the dominants are all the Drop-3 voicings here. Right? A dominant to the 6th, C minor. A dominant to the 7th, which is D diminished, and then finally, and then we're going to take it and go backwards, which is really beautiful. Because this is really the sound that I want. How gorgeous is that? Pretty cool. This will be our first way of doing it. And we're going to do all the other inversions today, so get ready to practice. But I want to get this sound specifically in my hands. We'll just do the key of E flat. We can take it in other keys throughout the week if we want to, but right now we're just going to stay very simple in one key. Let's take it pretty slow. I'll give you 2 beats, and we'll go up, and then we'll go back down the way we came. 1, 2. Practice with me. So pretty. Let's go back down. Here we are on the D diminished, 5-1 to the C minor, to B flat. You know, as jazz musicians, oftentimes we get thrust into things like, 13 chords and sharp 11s before really fully understanding basic triadic and 7th chord functional harmony. And I think this exercise is just a really nice way to get amazing voice leading, just beautiful, bog standard voice leading over these simple concepts. I'm so thrilled about this. Let's do this again. I'll give you 2 beats and we'll start together. Play with me. 1, 2. Again, we're just putting secondary dominants, right? Dominants that aren't in the key of E flat onto chords that are. Let's go back down. just going down the triads, but we're adding that secondary dominant in drop 3. Again, all the dominant chords are our drop 3 chords. We're adding the one right before it, its own dominant. Beautiful. Let's do that one more time. 1, 2. This is our first position. So excited to have these. To the diminished. And let's go back down. Dominant to the diminished. Dominant to the 6th now. F7 over A here. I'll drop 3. B flat. Dominant to the 4th. Secondary dominant to the 3rd. I'll drop 3, secondary dominant to 2, and then dominant to the 1. And I'm just doing 1 note in my left hand and 3 notes in my right, because when I bring these out in pop music, oh, that's way too low. I want to have the option to do kind of baseline movement with my left hand. All right, so that is the first inversion of this drop 3 chordal movement. Let's check out the next inversion. What happens when, that was just based off of B flat, D, F, and A flat, right? Where we take the 3rd note from the top and we drop it down. In this case of these dominant chords, that's the 3rd. So all the dominant chords were over the 3rd in a drop 3 chord. What if we take it up an inversion, right? We put that B flat up an octave, so we have D, F, A flat, and B flat, and we put that, the 3rd note from the bottom, which is F, right? So now we have F, D, A flat, and B going down. I want to do the same thing, right? Where we're going up, standard, and then coming down, all triads diatonically in the key of E flat, but before each one, we're adding its dominant 7 chord, right, with the drop 3. Let's check that out. Let's check out this next one. So going down, right, just so there's no confusion, when we go down, right, I'm at E flat, and then we're going to go down to D diminished. But before we hit the D diminished, we're going to put in that A7 in the drop 3. So each one of the diatonic chords gets a dominant 7, gets its own dominant 7 in the drop 3. It's the exact reverse of what we do going up. So the second inversion here, check this out. We get a nice little melodic bass line, which is what's so cool about these drop 3 chords, is they're great solo piano chords. They give us this nice movement, right? So now instead of the dominant chord over the 3rd, it's over the 5th. Now A7 to D diminished, and then B flat 7 over F to E flat. And then next when we go back down, we go down to the D diminished, but before we do that, we do the A7, right? The A7 chord that we were working on. Now we go to the C minor, but before we do that, we do the G7 before the C minor, right? So each one of the diatonic triads gets its own diminished chord. Before we go to the B flat, F7, right? Whatever is the 5 of the diatonic chord, in this case, we're going to A flat. So the 5, if A flat is E flat, so we have that voicing. Oh, it's so beautiful. C7 to F minor, and then B flat 7 to E flat, right? Let's try it very slowly. Go up with me. 1, 2. Right? 5, 1, 5. F7 to B flat. Again, all the dominant chords are drop 3 chords. So pretty. Now A7 to D diminished, G7 to C minor, F7, drop 3 to B flat, E flat 7 to A flat, drop 3, D7 to G. Oh, man, that one kills me every time. You can see how this is going to be very helpful as we craft really simple 5/1 voicings, especially in like pop music, R&B, gospel, like kind of things where we don't need big, thick, jazzy chords, but we want to have some really nice voice leading. These are it. Let's try it again. 1, 2. So nice. A7 to D diminished. B flat 7 over F to E flat. All right, down to the D diminished. A7 first. G7 to C minor. F7 to B flat. All with our drop 3 on the dominant chords. E flat to A. Woo, so nice. D7 to G minor. How great is that? Woo. Wonderful. Let's do this one more time and we'll move on to our next inversion. Here we go. I'm going to give you 2 beats. Play with me. 1, 2. Again, each diatonic triad gets its own secondary dominant chord. And the secondary dominant chord is our drop 3. And what a drop 3. What a drop 3 it is. Let's go down. A7 to D diminished. It's just really pretty. Not everything has to be super jazzy. Things can just be nice and pretty. Sometimes a nice 7th chord to a triad is just what you need. All right, let's move on to our next inversion. So we've done, right, our root position, B flat 7, right, our root position chords in drop 3, which has the 3rd on the bottom of the dominant chords. Then we did the one with the 7th on the bottom. So this next one, or sorry, the 5th, excuse me, the 5th on the dominant 7th chord on the bottom. This next one has the 7th on the bottom. We have just the triad on top. Let me bring it up here. It's so pretty, this one. So the triad on top, this is going to be maybe hard to read, but it's a pretty cool concept. The triad B flat over A flat, B flat 7 over A flat, right? So we have our A flat F, right? Our original voicing would be F, A flat, B flat, D. We take that 3rd note from the bottom and we drop it an octave. And then we want to go to our tonic chord, right? In this case, it's E flat, but it's not going to sound good. It's not going to sound great to go to E flat in the root. So what does sound good, where that A flat really is yearning to be resolved, is to G, is to the 3rd. So these work great, right? This 3rd position works great when we want to resolve to a chord that's over the 3rd, right? How wonderful is that? Man, that's so nice. Let's try it. Nice and slow. I'll give you 2 beats. Play with me. 1, 2. C7 to F minor over A. It's definitely the trickiest one to see, but it's so worth it to get. A7 to D diminished. G7 to C minor. F7 to B flat over D, E flat, yeah, these are definitely some churchy voicings, I'll tell you that much. Let's try that again. 1, 2. Play with me. G7 to C minor, A7 to D diminished, D flat 7 to E flat. And again, all the 7th chords are drop 3. Amen. But if you don't think that these are used in modern jazz, I mean, I'm just going to say it, but let's check out some Brad Mehldau, even some Robert Glasper, some Bad Plus, all of this stuff. This sound is used to simplify things, to make it less clustery. Just, it's a sound that you can use even in a modern jazz context. One real quick thing about these particular voicings, I just want to mention about the tonic chords, the resolution chords. So we have our drop 3 chord, right? Our B flat 7, which is just a B flat triad over A flat there, that first voicing. Now, you might think, why not go G in the bass and then G, B flat, E flat? Because generally, our second note of the scale, it wants to resolve down. And this is a stronger resolution than to double the third. You could. But I think that this E flat, only having 1/3 in the chord for me works best for this. Just the way I like it. All right. Our final inversion that we can practice here is super slick. Again, this last inversion, it gets us a tonic that is not a root position tonic, right? Our tonic on this one, we're going to have the 5th in, which is great. Now we have all these options for bass lines that can resolve. So check it out. So if we our last inversion, A flat, B flat, D, F, right? That's our basic 7 chord, right? If we started out in root position and we do all the inversions, the 4th and final inversion has the 7th on the bottom. So the 3rd note from the top of this inversion is B flat. We're in root position now for our drop 3 chords. This is a drop 3 chord. This is probably a voicing you might know. It's just a drop 3, B flat 7. And we're going to resolve this down. We could resolve it up, but we're going to resolve it down. In most of these, the bass note between the 5 and the 1 is the same, right? So we have B flat 7 with B flat as the root, and then E flat over B flat. How great is this? This is just another classic churchy sound for sure, but another one of our versions of drop 3 dominant chords that works so well in this context. Let's try it. I'll give you 2 beats. Play with me. 1, 2. It's a little different where the bass line has to move, right? Because we're going to that diminished. Back down, A7 to D diminished. I screwed the end of that up. Let's try it again. I'll give you 2. 1, 2. We're going to be Richard T in no time. Beautiful. Last one. And let's go down. A7 to D diminished. Can't get that last one. I got it. Let's do this one more time, just so I can get it for myself. 1, 2. Play with me. I got it. Well, there it is. We're going to be Richard T in no time. We're going to have great voice leading even in triads. What you don't want to do, and what these really help with, is you don't want to be playing triads and it sounds super weak, right? Because then it's like, well, can this person even play 7th chords if they can't make triads sound good? We have to keep sharpening our tools, and that means as jazz pianists, learning even more basic things like this very basic chordal harmony. I'm very stoked about this. I haven't really gone deep in this in my entire career, and I'm really looking forward to taking this through in all keys, to having these at my disposal at any time. These are also great, for like string quartet, arranging things, saxophone quartet, quintet things. These kinds of voice leading exercises really help us to just be better all around. So check out the Drop-3, check out Richard T, check out Oscar Peterson always. And check us out on Open Studio. We are practicing over there every day at 1 p.m. Eastern on Zoom. We do a guided practice session for our members where we can actually interact and take questions. Go sign up for the Piano Guided Practice Pass or the Piano Access Pass too. Any of those subscriptions will get you access to that guided practice session. We're going to keep this up on YouTube so you can check it out and come back to it. And it's a simple thing that I think is